it's working. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Every day using this microphone, I've got quite a large voice. First of all, I just want to say a massive thank you to the team here at Launchpad and to Software Cornwall for putting on this event. Because I said to them, I'm going to come down, I think, to Cornwall in the summer, because that sounds much better than coming down in the winter. I started this brand new role in January, and I moved to Bristol 2 days later. So the Southwest will be a brand new region and an opportunity to build a new network. And that's been made really easy by a lot of people in this room, so a huge thank you to all of you. So who am I and what do I do? All right, that is my job title. Nobody wants that job title. It's far too long and so much of a mouthful. Entrepreneur, Engagement Manager for the Southwest, which is much better if you just pronounce it EAM. And the great thing about EAM is it rhymes with team, and there are a team of EAMs across the country, one for each region. So I cover everything from the Scilly Isles up to kind of Gloucester, Cheltenham, that area, down to Dorset, which is a wonderful region to be involved with. I have colleagues in every other region, based in their, what do we call them, their headline cities. So I'm based in Bristol, but I do spend a lot of my time on the train. Actually hired a car to come down here because it seemed like fun. I'm actually a really bad driver though, and I got terrified of it, so my boyfriend is at the back there. He's come along to help me cheerlead. He's also a software developer if anyone's looking for one of those. He's not in the market, but I just want lots of people to go and bug him afterwards. So, Tech Nation, as Tony quite correctly said, is government funded. We're 80% government funded with a small commercial arm, and hopefully trying to grow that commercial arm so that I have a job for the future. What do we do? Let's have a little look. Oh yeah, that's the regions that we cover. I thought I had quite a large region in the southwest until I discovered that there was going to be one person for Scotland, which doesn't even fit on the slide. So feeling less hard done by now. That is the faces of some of our EAMs. It's not all of us. Those are the ones that started in January, and we've since hired a few more to cover all 11 regions. The reason I show this slide is to kind of point out that we all have different backgrounds. So we've all got an interest in tech. I personally come from an events and community background, starting off in Newcastle, which is where I'm from. I know you can all tell from the accent. I was involved with an accelerator program up there, Ignite 100, and then ended up in London working for a co-working space, Central Working, and then a community event company called the Three Beards. But I'm all about people and bringing people together. So that's my background. However, some of the others are journalists specialising in tech, and they have done a really good job of writing articles about their region. So I'm sorry you got me, because I've not done a very good job of that. However, I'll talk a bit more about how you can help me do a better job of that in a bit. But yeah, that's the team. So if any of you go, for whatever reason, to any of the other regions and you want a kind of in, just get in touch, because I can introduce you to them and they will be able to make a large number of introductions for you in their local regions. So, Tech Nation is a lot of things to a lot of different people, and some people have never heard of us, which is a much easier place to start from my perspective. Last year it was Tech City in London, very London focused, and then up in the north it was Tech North, which is part of the Northern Powerhouse. Last year rebranded as Tech Nation in line with our report, the Tech Nation report, which has been going out for a number of years. And part of that national rollout, that commitment to better distributing our resources across the country, was to hire our team and to change the name. So a number of early stage resources that we have. The Digital Business Academy. I'm sure a lot of the things on the Digital Business Academy you are all already being taught by local providers. However, it's around 80, a little bit more perhaps now, modules that you can go and self-teach. Everything from should I be an entrepreneur, which maybe the majority of you have already got past that stage, advice on marketing, advice on finance, everything through to my company's now growing, how do I maintain the culture? It's free, everything we do is free, we don't take equity, as I said, it's government money, so everything's fairly easy to access. You just need to go to the website and create an account and start your courses. We also have the Founders Network. Now I know there are a number of really great Slack groups already in Cornwall helping to connect founders, but I always say it's no bad thing in having a number of different ones to tap into. So the Founders Network is for first-time, early-stage founders looking to have a community of like-minded people also on the same stage of their journey. The problem with a network like that is that people tend to grow their companies and become less early-stage founders, and we don't really feel like we should kick them out. So there are a bunch of people on the Founders Network who are actually able to feedback and give advice on that. We have no idea what to do about that. Next time I'm down here, I'll let you know if there's any decisions made. But you can only get in if you're early stage, but then we don't pick you out. So there's lots of great people in there for you to ask questions, whether it be about tax credits, whether it be about making your first hire, and you can ask your peers who have been through similar things themselves. So Rising Stars is our only competition, and I always enthuse about Rising Stars mainly because the girl who runs it, the woman that runs it, Esme, has just unlimited enthusiasm for startups. She wants to support everybody and make their dreams come true. And when you meet her, you'll know what I mean, but she's just bounds and bounds of energy. The Rising Stars competition is for that earlier stage. There's a lot of support in terms of pitching practice. There's a final, quarterfinals, semi-finals. Semi-finals is usually held in Manchester and the finals held up in London. And I always say it's the friendliest competition out there because there's 10 winners and only 20 go through to the final, so it's not cutthroat in any way, shape or form. And the idea is just to give people kind of as much confidence, exposure, pitching practice, and encourage them to continue on their journey to grow their businesses. So, the majority of the other things that we offer are more aligned for scaling companies. A number of our sector programs, which I'm going to go through in a minute, are new, and they're quite specific. So at this point, I worry that a number of companies drop out and kind of stop lose interest because they don't fit into any one of these. However, there's still plenty of ways in which I can support you outside of these sector programs. But if you do fit into one of those, then I definitely would love to know so that I can help you to apply and make sure you do a really great job at applying with the hope that we get lots and lots of Southwest founders onto the final cohorts and show the rest of the country that it's the best place to grow your business. So FinTech, it pretty much does what it says on the tin. It's a FinTech program. All of our programs are very focused on peer-to-peer learning. So we bring in a number of people from our alumni, and we've some big names in that alumni. I'm always dreadful at remembering who they are, but Monzo, Deliveroo are on there. I think Starling Bank is also on there. And we try and pull members of their team in to run workshops for our cohorts and kind of access that talent and that network. Cyber, this is a new one this year. The cohort's currently in progress. Part of our role as the EAMS is to try and make sure that not all the action is happening in London. So Gary, who's our EAM over in Belfast, when there was a cyber cohort going on, he said, right, well, they've got to come to Belfast. There's a lot happening here. And he worked with the team behind the cyber program and arranged for the whole team, the whole cohort to go over there, had a day of networking and events and workshops, and got all of those cohort, companies from all over the country into Belfast to see what they have to offer. So maybe next year I'll be able to get the cyber cohort down to the southwest, or any other of the cohorts. We have applied AI, that's just closed, applications that have just closed, and tomorrow will be the final round of judging. So we should hear who the AI companies are going to be by the end of the month or in early August. Again, peer-to-peer learning, pulling experts from the industries through our network to make sure that the cohort are talking to people that really, really know what they're talking about, that are on the same journey but maybe just a bit further down the line. Then mid-stage is upscale. So upscale is a similar program, it's just it's not specifically focused on any one sector, it's for scaling companies. There's lots of sort of debate around what does a scale up look like. For us, it seems to be that nice sort of sweet spot between seed funding and Series A. Upscale is sort of repositioning itself at the moment because now we've had so many more growth sector programs. But when I find out the criteria, this is probably one that will go open for applications in September. So if any companies feel that they're at a scaling stage, then we should definitely chat. And then when I know the final criteria, I'll be able to tell you whether or not you're applicable. Late stage, we have the Future 50, and this is the kind of the big companies that I've mentioned, so the Monzos and Starling Banks that have been through this, and yeah, it's kind of that later stage stuff. So what other support do we offer outside of our program? So visa, I think, could be really important for some of you guys. It's the Tier 1 Exceptional Talent Visa that we don't give them out, but we kind of make sure that the right people are getting them, working with the government. So these visas are great because they don't tie the talent to a company. So usually if you're getting a visa for work, you get tied down to a company and then you're not able to leave unless you therefore have to leave the country. This is looking encouraging. The perfect case study is a PhD student, loads of research, loads of knowledge, either exceptionally talented or potential to be exceptionally talented. 5 years and 4 months enables them to stay in the country and work for whom they want. So it's a lot more onus on them. So if any of you are interested in visas, again, come and hit me up afterwards. That's me talking a lot. Good. So that's my email address and my Twitter handle. Do feel free to either come and talk to me in person or get in touch via email or Twitter. One thing I mentioned at the beginning is that I've been really bad at doing content and I need to change that. So my content manager has produced some beautiful forms to make it much, much easier for me to gather information and put together some great blogs. And what I would love to do is any of you that are interested in getting a bit of exposure via the Tech Nation network is come and talk to me. We can swap email addresses. I'll be able to send you one of these forms. There's specific ones for founders, but also for community stakeholders. So we could do something around Cornwall as a whole. So we could do one specific on Launchpad. But yeah, come and talk to me, and we'll get those forms out so that we can get more exposure and shout a bit louder about how great Southwest is. I think that's everything from me. Do we do questions? People have questions, or are we just going to go straight into these wonderful pictures that I'm super excited about?
I'm sure we've got time for one question, if there is.
Does anyone have one really important question that feels more important than anybody else's question? I feel like there's too much pressure on one question.
I know, but this audience can stand up to that pressure, I think.
Yeah? Anyone have one question? I won't be offended if you don't have one question. No, let's go straight on to pitching and then we can all chat later. Okay, thank you very much.